Hello, this is Jam Master Daniel96, and in today's video, I'll be reviewing Star Wars Before the Awakening by Greg Rucka. So let's begin. Well, Before the Awakening is a book in the new canon, obviously, because this is, tied around with the sequel trilogy, and this is, a tie-in book, set before the events of The Force Awakens about, so it's divided up in different segments. You have one section about Finn, the other section about Rey, and then the third section is about Poe. It's like the first story is about Finn in his Stormtrooper days, and then obviously he's referred to as FN 2187, obviously, as we know from the beginning of The Force Awakens, given the time frame this is set in. They're on a mission, then there's another Stormtrooper called, FN 2003, then they go on a mission with Captain Phasma, and that's pretty much that. So that's pretty much what the Finn segment is, him on a Stormtrooper mission. Then the second story is about Rey, and then you pretty much just read about her life on Jakku. Then she's with someone named Devi with their adventure on Jakku. You get kind of no clue to who Rey's parents are and things. Because really, this was published around the time, or a bit after, not long after Force Awakens came out. And I guess, the writer was limited to tell on these characters, and because, this was, around the time, trying to figure out who Rey is, and then, way before we probably knew she was a nobody, then in The Rise of Skywalker, she's a Palpatine. So this was, all around the time when we were trying to piece together who Rey's parents were. Was she like a Skywalker, Solo, Kenobi, Palpatine, nobody, etc.? But then, as we know in The Last Jedi, she's a nobody, and then, as I said in Episode 9, she's a Palpatine. So that's that. So, they were kind of limited on that bit. So that's pretty much at the Rey part. So, and then that's that. And the third and final story is about Poe. So you see what he was like before The Force Awakens. They reference his mom, Shara Bey, who's in the Poe Dameron comics. The Shattered Empire comics. Sorry about that little mistake there. You learn he was in the New Republic before he was in the Resistance, which was, what we kind of knew before, around the time when these published media came out to know what Poe Dameron's backstory was. And then we kind of came around in The Rise of Skywalker that we learned he was a spice runner. So they kind of did a little bit of a retcon with The Rise of Skywalker, but I haven't read the new Poe Dameron book yet. So I'll definitely, check that out soon, see how they may, go around, work the way around with his time in the New Republic and how he became a spice runner and all that, and then joining the Resistance. But that's a discussion for another time, but definitely at some point I'll get to the Poe Dameron book. So you have that, and then really that's pretty much it. So you do kind of get where, Poe just doing his piloting stuff and all that, and then really with this book, you don't get the full story on these characters, and because as I said earlier, that they were probably limited on what they can tell because they didn't want to give any spoilers away for, Episode 8 and 9, because this was around the time of Force Awakens, so that was about it. And so, that's why, because the writer figured they would, they would have further stuff explaining the future stuff, so that's pretty much it. And when I thought of it, I thought it was okay. And then even though, because this was, for the time, maybe it could have been useful for reading because you were just getting to know these characters. And then now, since the sequel trilogy is over, it's kind of just the stuff, you don't get too in-depth with their backstories. And I'd say you can give it a shot if you want. And that's pretty much all I gotta say. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment what you think down below, and share this video to spread the word about the channel, and tell your friends to subscribe.